Hi folks, welcome. Yeah, I'm making these a batch of mortars and pestles. I've already thrown these, and they're dead easy to throw. These are a pound of clay, okay. These ones actually are a little deeper than what I usually do. Very slightly different design. I've made them actually a little deeper, and the sides are coming in, you see. The idea being that, you know, when you're using the pestle, the peppercorns or the seeds that you're trying to grind up, they don't jump out, you know. Now, ones that I've made in the past have been a little somewhat shallower than this, and so the seeds and such have a tendency to jump out. So I've tried to rectify that. So right now what I'm doing is just applying this herringbone impressed design, utilizing one of these simple homemade bisque fired impressing wheels. So I encourage you to, if you don't have any, to make them. They're very easy to make, and I may have got a video up there on how to make them. I can't remember. So in fact, this is my third effort at making this video, and with the previous ones I already did these, so I only got this one, basically one left. So you would push this, you see, and then you revolve this banding wheel around, holding the wheel still. So I've got one more to do, and I wanted to do a close-up of that. As soon as we've done that, we're going to go over to the wheel, because I'm actually going to be throwing the pestle. So let's just zoom in here a touch. It's always good to see things, isn't it, from afar but also close up. I guess that's close enough. So you need a banding wheel. So I'm going to hold this here. I'm going to push the banding wheel into the clay, into the wall there, and then I'm just going to, holding it still, revolve the wheel, the banding wheel, and that will automatically cause the impressing wheel to go round, you see, like that. Okay, now I've thumbed these off. They're not really trimmed. We thumbed them off, and I've put my seal on. I was forgetting then that the focus was in, wasn't it? So what I was saying was, I'll just go do that again, show you. I put my seal on it. I really don't like scratched signatures on the bottom of pots that people do, because they haven't made a seal. So for heaven's sake, make yourself a seal. It's so much neater, it looks so much more professional than a scratched signature, which usually you can't read. So the inside of these, it's important to get the inside of these are really nice, the bowl are really nice, as smooth as you can make it. And what I do is, after I put it back on the wheel, and then with my fingers and the wheel, and the wheel going round, I kind of burnish the inside of it with my fingers. It kind of helps to compress the surface of the inside of the mortar, which I think is better because when you're using the mortar, did I say the mortar? Yeah. So when the pestle is grinding, it's not, the surface is more compressed. Okay, just going over here to my wheel, and I'm in the process of making these. I need to get my light bulb. I left it over there. It's hot. So I can't afford 2 light bulbs. So I have to so here you can see I've already made a few of them down there. You can see. I'll talk about those because the first ones I made them a little bit too. I made them actually too tall. So in fact, what I do is I have a stick and I put a red line on it, and for some reason I made these longer. I did a miscalculation. Anyway, so let me just take one of these just to show you. So that's basically the shape. Now this end is not finished yet. I did this last night, yesterday evening. So a nice rounded top here. You see to the pestle, a slender, waisted design it is, and then this end here, I basically, as you see me doing now, I round this off, pushing it's slightly soft, you see, this end. So I have a word for this, which is not. It's not a word in the English. It's not a word in the English language. It might be a word in Simon Leach's Pottery Dictionary, but I call it redondify. So I redondify the end here. Translation of that is to make round. Redondify. I think it's a nice word, that, redondify. So what you can do is on a clean bat, you see, after you've redondified it, you can go like this, you see, just to make it nice, you know. And here on this end, you just want to make sure that it's nice and smooth, you know. So that, let me get one of the, oh, I've got one here actually. So that's going to sit in there. Now, it's arguable whether a pestle and mortar like this, you could argue, well, Simon, it doesn't really need a pouring spout. Why do you bother to do it? Well, I think it just adds a little feature to it, you see, which when you've got the pestle, you see, it gives it a place, doesn't it? Gives it a place to live, gives it a home. A little notch cut out especially for it, you see. So on the other hand, you know, if you had some, say, if you wanted to make a green sauce, Well, when I was in Spain, we used to make green sauce and put it on like mussels, you know, and you cook the mussels, and then when they open, you'd put a green sauce, which would be usually olive oil, parsley, and garlic, and you know, it was a little bit liquid, so you'd do it in a pestle and mortar like this. So you would then pour that out through the pouring. So it is functional as well, but it's visually functional as well as functionally functional. All right. So there is that. What I'm going to do though now is I'm just going to show you how to. Let's bring this camera in a touch. Show you how to make the the pestle. So things to consider are, this is something that you're going to hold in your hand and you're going to use to grind. So yeah, redondify the end here, so it feels good in the hand, and also you want to get the length, a good length, so that you can hold it and grind without grinding your fingers on the edge of the mortar. Okay. There's another thing you can do, and I have done in the past, and that is I had put some sort of impressed design here on the shank of the pestle, just to give something to a bit of place to grip for your fingers, you know. Okay, so yeah, you just take a lump of clay, center it on here. Things that you're going to need are optional things. You may not need these, but I mean, sometimes I may use one of these kind of flexible sort of plastic. I may use that. I will definitely use one of these, which is a small spatula, and I actually use that for cutting off. Now everyone will have their own way of doing such things, but I'll just show you the way I do it, and then you might find that helpful anyway. So as I say, I've already made some here. So it's a case of, you know, centering, bringing up the clay. So you want to bring up enough clay here, you see, to don't have a wheel speed that is too slow. So what I found in making these is the first thing I do is I do the top here, and I kind of, using my finger like this, I sort of push down and compress the surface of the top. I think that's important to do, because you can get here, right in the middle, I have had a little crack sometimes form, a little S crack or something, you know. So just compress that there, because it's a thick piece of clay, so I think you should compress it. All right, so I'm forming now the top. So what I do now is instead of lifting the clay up, I push it down by going down like this, you see. I'm trying to make it slender. Now I'm coming up. Simon, this is very confusing. First you say you go down, and then you come up. Alright, so Nobody ever showed me how to make these. I just fiddled around until I think I have the way of doing it that suits me. Teach yourself pottery. Just get on the wheel and go. The clay will teach you. Alright, so I'm looking for that slightly slender, waisted form. Now, you can... Why don't we actually measure it first? You see, I've got my measuring stick. Alright, well, actually I want it a little narrower here. Now you can use your kidney if you want to. It's not. But yeah, do compress this top here as you form that dome. All right, so I take the measuring stick like this and I put the red mark to the top like that, you see, and then I use the other end and I just make a mark like that, you see. Right, now I'm going to take my little palette knife thing here. What I'm going to do is wet it, and then I'm going to stick the palette knife in to the halfway point. What that will effectively do is cut it off, but because it's very slightly flat, it will also enable me to lift the pestle clear away. So I come in like this, put a little bit of water on your fingers, and I put my finger there like that, you see, and now I insert it, and I can cut it and lift it off all in one wash. You see? There it is. I've cut it off and I've got it. Now I can take it and carefully put him down there. Have we got time to do one more? Let's just move it in a touch. Oh, the neighbour's coming back with their dog. Alright, what about there? Alright, let's do one more quickly. Okay, so I want to bring this clay up. So I grab it, okay, and oh, I nearly grabbed it too much then. You grab it too much, the whole thing will come off in your hand. Okay, so I'm lifting up the clay, thinning it. Okay, so let's do the top here. Push down here. Don't make it too rounded. You want just a gentle dome, okay? Okay, so now I kind of push in underneath the top there and then go down like that, you see? They call it reverse throwing. It works. So some of the excess clay I'm pushing down. Because if you think about it, I can't lift it up because I've already formed the top, haven't I, up here. So Well, I suppose clay, you see, can go both ways. There's no reason why it can only go up. It can go down equally, couldn't it? So, and now I'm going to bring it up again. I get a nice sort of nice taper, you know what I mean? Nice taper. So, where's my red mark? There's my red mark. So I put that at the top, and then I just go in there like that. Okay, so wet that. Now, wet your fingers as well. So you're going to hold it like that, thumb on the blade, and in like that, and there he is. You see, cut him off and hold him at the same time. Put him down on the wear board, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's just pull back the focus there, otherwise you'll be. Wait a minute, which way do we go? That's the way, isn't it? So yeah, I've got a few there on the board. Some of those are too long, but it doesn't matter, I'll just chop them down a bit. So thanks for joining us, folks. Please visit my website, simonleachpottery.com, and have a go at making a pestle and mortar. It's actually, if you're a potter and you've never made these, have a go. You'll find that actually they sell quite well. People like them. As far as glazing is concerned, I don't glaze these at all. All I do is blow wood ash over the outside. You don't want to have glaze on the inside of the bowl. Alright? If you do glaze them, don't glaze the inside of the bowl, alright? And don't glaze the grinding bit on the, you know, the top of the pestle. Don't put any glaze there, alright? Apart from that, I mean, as I say, I've used wood ash. It gives a nice toasty kind of look, which I think is in keeping with it, and it goes well with this impressed decoration with the toasty wood ash. So have a go at that. A pound of clay, and you just have to eyeball it. I know someone's going to ask me for dimensions, so I suppose I better. Well, you want to make it about width you'll be talking about 4 1/4, and depth we're talking about 2 1/2, 2 3/8, approximate. But those are just, you don't have to copy exactly what I've done. With these, I've just made sure they're a little deeper than ones I've done in the past, so that the action of grinding doesn't cause the seeds, etc., to spit out and jump out, you know. Okay, well anyway, hopefully we'll have those on our Etsy shop. You can visit our shop on our website. It's an Etsy gallery there. And join us for a workshop as well. We do have dates up there on the website. Apart from that, nothing more to report. Other than to say, keep practicing. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.